Hi, it's Miss Lamb back with another video for social distancing or social isolation spreadsheets. I don't remember which one I called it. We're that far in. Okay, I actually want to start this video with building upon and a little bit of a correction from the previous video. I'm going over here to the data analysis tab to continue what we were working on in the last video where we were asking questions of our data. And I made a mistake of referring to the trip duration data as seconds when actually it's minutes. And so we took away that biggest number. But if we look at a bike trip that is 83 hours, because if we take 5,025 minutes and we divide it by 60 into hours, 83 hours is still not a reasonable amount of time for a city bike trip. So we're actually going to go and further narrow down some of these numbers, these biggest ones. I'm going to delete these as well. These for sure are going out. I'm going to delete these. Delete rows 2 to 4. And then, because my math skills leave much to be desired, I'm just going to quickly calculate these so that I could see. Okay, 15 hours on a city bike. Well, let's see. They start at 11:30 at night and go until 2 o'clock the next day. That does not sound like something that somebody would do. That sounds like something that was stolen. And then already here, we're talking about a subscriber, which is why I would be less, I don't know, a little bit less suspicious. And so we're actually going to leave it over here. And now we come to a 12-hour bike trip. I don't know, maybe somebody took it on a trip around the city. So now we've kind of changed this data. And once we have this much more accurate, going from a 1-minute trip up to a 766-minute trip, which is close to 13 hours. Now we're going to go and find our average. Obviously, when we had those giant numbers, it skewed our averages incorrectly. And to calculate the average, I'm going to say equals average, and I'm opening up my parentheses. I'm going back to my city bike data tab. I'm clicking on column A to do trip duration. I'm closing my parentheses. I'm pressing enter, and I get an average trip of 8 minutes. Now that's obviously quite different than a 13-hour trip, but we still have a better average of 8 minutes. Now, the only other question I have here is a 1-minute bike ride is unlikely to be something that makes sense, right? If I only went on for 1 minute, probably I took out the bike and then either realized something was wrong or changed my mind and then put it back, because 1 minute is really, really short. So I'm going to guess in my head that the shortest bike ride that a person would actually take that would make sense, and this is arbitrary and it's not necessarily true, would be 5 minutes. And so I want to find out how many trips there are. I want to see number of trips above 5 minutes. That's my next question. I'm going to wrap this text so I could see that whole title. Maybe I'll stretch it a little bit. And now, in order to calculate the number of trips that are above 5 minutes, I'm going to use a count formula again, like I did with the number of trips here, except I only want to count the number of trips if the duration is above 5 minutes. And so I'm going to use a formula called CountIf. So I type in CountIf, and I open up my parentheses. I'm going back to my same range, my trip duration. But now, if you notice, what my formula is asking me is it's asking me for a criterion. It's asking me, under what conditions should I count this data? And so I'm going to say, and I need to put this criterion in quotation marks, I'm saying if it's greater than 5 minutes. So if the value is greater than 5 minutes, then it should count the trip. I'm going to press enter, and now I have 10,795 trips that are above 5 minutes. And that leaves me with 9,000 trips approximately, a little bit less than 9,000 trips that were perhaps not even relevant at all. So now I have kind of some of this information about my trips. I know how many trips were taken. I know about my longest trip, and that allowed me to take away some outliers. I know about my shortest trip. Now, if I would want, I could go in here. I could sort here A to Z. Okay, and I could kind of look here even though they started at one station and they ended at another station that were 1 minute apart. So I don't quite know. And some of these are subscribers. So maybe it is a thing to have a trip that's 1 minute apart. I don't know, which is why I don't want to be quick to delete this information. In the next video, we're going to find out some more information about our users who are using our bike. I will see you back for that.